Earth is home to nearly 7.3 billion humans and millions of creatures, some of which remain undiscovered. In our world that is divided among the humans, there are vast oceans and large land masses. These humans split the land to form countries that are ruled by governments placed on them. There are many superpower countries, such as China, Russia, and Japan, but the most powerful is the United States of America. We, the United States of America, pride ourselves in the freedom we offer to all people, no matter race, sex, religion, financial status, or sexuality. We pride ourselves in our freedom to voice our opinions and to be governed by the people and for the people. Our government is a democracy, which means those who rule are placed in power by the people who are governed. It is with these freedoms and more that allow us to assist the poor and less fortunate, provide support to countries around us, and defend the world from evils who seek to revoke these freedoms from mankind. The freedoms offered don't stop there. It also includes economic freedoms for all, achieved through a system of capitalism, also known as the free market. It is all this combined for which guides our country to be the role model of the world that spreads the ideas of peace, democracy, freedom, and
The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. This is what the 19th Amendment affirms and the United States firmly believes and upholds. This amendment gave women the right to vote, which women have been demanding for the past 60 to 70 years, beginning with the efforts by Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and other suffragists in the 1800s. Although not quickly passed and often met with opposition by men and other women, it was a major stepping stone for equality for the sexes and gave women a direct voice in politics through voting. This document was chosen because it displays how the U.S. is willing to give rights and freedoms to people who have supported and contributed, as seen by preparing America's youth, to the overall goal of stability and equality. This right would be a base for more rights and liberties for all people across the world, including Native Americans. This significant moment shows that mankind has the right to express their political voice to their leaders and shape their government to how they want it.
Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous speech, I Have a Dream, brought awareness and light to the social injustice African Americans and minorities faced in America prior to the establishment of equality. It elaborates on how America should treat African Americans as equals. It focuses on a dark time in American history where segregation was the norm and racism, for many, was accepted as the culture that must be preserved at all costs. Its author, Martin Luther King Jr., took the stand to plead with the American people for a change for a more equal and friendly environment where all men and women, white and black, could live peacefully and with the same rights. It is in this speech that MLK attacks segregation at the core by bringing up for whites only signs, the unequal opportunities given to black men, and unsatisfactory living areas such as ghettos. The ideas this speech supported and the country's current upholding of the ideas presented in this speech demonstrate America's willingness to listen and change for the better. This speech strived to help bring racial equality during the civil rights movement for all people that the U.S. and other democratic countries continue to try and uphold today. It is this equality that America attempts to spread around the world as a means to keep peace.
The Statue of Liberty was given to the United States as a gift from France to commemorate the 100th year anniversary of America gaining its independence. On the 450,000-pound steel statue was an inscription which read, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free." This statue arrived in Ellis Island, New York, in 1885. This artifact was chosen because it is representative of many of America's greatest aspects, such as freedom, diversity, success through hard work, and opportunity. Freedom is an utterly important principle because all men are inherently equal and have human dignity. Freedom honors this dignity and allows economies and social systems to thrive and creates a more just and egalitarian society. Masses of people flocked to America for different reasons. Some of the reasons were that they were fleeing religious persecution, escaping the wearisome conditions of poverty, and searching for a better life for themselves and their families. This massive influx of diverse populations account for a large percentage of the current American population and have made significant contributions to the nation. These people have been pulled into America because of the notions of the American dream, or that people can thrive socially and economically through hard work, determination, and perseverance. The Statue of Liberty is a symbol of the freedom, opportunity, and diversity which America embodies. It also symbolizes that the United States is the melting pot of the world, opening its
Manifest destiny, the belief that it was God's given right for the American people to expand its borders and spread its principles of democracy to uncivilized peoples of Western lands. This view influenced millions of people to expand westward until the Pacific. The Gateway Arch pays homage to President Thomas Jefferson and his role in purchasing the Louisiana Territory. The St. Louis Arch represents the gateway to the West, which offered settlers the chance at a new life on the western frontier. Throughout the 19th century, St. Louis was one of the most influential cities in the U.S. At the time, St. Louis was considered the New York of the West, pioneering the expansion of the United States. The western frontier offered many the chance to seek economic prosperity. When gold was discovered in California, many people flocked to the United States in hordes to take their chances at fortune and becoming rich. People left behind their own home countries just for a chance to enjoy the benefits of capitalism and freedom that the United States has to offer. The West opened new economic opportunities, and the St. Louis Arch pays homage to our goal of spreading freedom and democracy around the world. Manifest Destiny became the idea that it is the United States' role to spread democracy throughout the world. The United States is home to many immigrants, and it is our freedom and ability to start a new life that makes our country great. Before the creation of the airplane, man spent millions of years studying birds and gathering information on how one gains the ability to fly. With many attempting to become the first to complete the seemingly impossible task, it wasn't until December 17, 1903, that the Wright brothers perfected the airplane and ushered in a new age of faster travel. With the United States being the birthplace of the airplane, the world was forever changed. The invention of the airplane was revolutionary since it was a step towards a more interconnected world. It promoted the spread of cultures and ideas between countries and fostered the development of the global economy. The plane also greatly influenced trade between nations by offering a faster, more efficient, and cheaper means of transportation. This invention exemplified the United States is one of the most prominent birthplaces of innovation and technology, having some of the most creative and unique minds in the universe that help shape and change the world for the better.
One aspect of American society which really makes us great is the system of capitalism, or mostly unrestricted trade. We've tried and succeeded in spreading capitalism to other nations, while in our own, it has led to some of the greatest inventions and innovations in world history. Americans created the personal computer and the smartphone, two stepping stones to the great innovation that is the first iPhone. We chose the first iPhone rather than any other technological breakthrough because it symbolizes a coming together of many inventions and innovations, including the internet, which several Americans had a role in creating. The technology it's built on, and great marketing scheme, which overshadows competitors with very similar products, are direct products of competition, the greatest aspect of capitalism. The iPhone can make calls, access the internet, and complete a whole host of tasks, such as set an alarm. Benjamin Franklin is in two categories that make him fit to represent the United States. Franklin is one of the men who founded this country, and a great inventor. Franklin is one of the many inventors whose products improved the economy and the quality of life in America, or the colonies in his time. His many inventions include the Franken stove and bifocals. The bifocals are still a product in use today, but Franklin is far greater known for his role in the founding of the nation. He helped write both the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, the two most important documents in U.S. history, among other significant contributions to the Patriot cause. Without his and the rest of the Founding Fathers' work, nothing this nation has done would have been possible. Both through his role as a politician and inventor, Franklin was a pioneer for many of the values America still holds dear today. Abraham Lincoln is a very prominent political figure who lived in the mid-19th century. Many consider Lincoln to be the most influential American president because of the gravity of all the contributions he made. However, Lincoln had to fail many times in order to achieve the status that he has today. He ran for several political positions such as Vice President, the Senate, and the Speaker of the House and failed almost every time. Despite his obstacles, his perseverance and determination led him to becoming one of the most well-known and beloved American figures and presidents. Abraham Lincoln first caught the attention of the public during the Lincoln-Douglas debates in which he argued against the notion of slavery. He chose to take a very controversial stance because he was strongly convinced that he was advocating for the right cause. He used elements from the Declaration of Independence, such as all men are created equal, to justify his belief that slavery should be abolished, since it contradicted the Declaration. In 1860, Lincoln became president. He spearheaded the Northern fight to abolish slavery during the Civil War. He is the president who is credited with abolishing slavery of African American people through the issuing of the Emancipation Proclamation and the 13th Amendment, and preserving the union between the North and South. Lincoln embodies all the values which Americans stand for. He ensured that every American resident was free and a legal citizen. He gave significant importance to the virtues of freedom, equality, and national unity. Lincoln is the quintessential American patriot, gifting freedom to millions of African Americans and restoring the peace in the nation during a tumultuous and divisive era. Without him, America would not be the prosperous and united country it is today. Ideological differences caused tensions between the Soviet Union and the United States to rise significantly. Western countries believed that communism would spread around the world if it was left unchecked. This led to the development of the Cold War, a non-violent and ideological war, in which the communist and capitalist countries competed for superiority of their ideals. One of the ways the Cold War manifested was through the space race, which lasted from 1957 to 1975. The Soviets got off to a good start by sending the first satellite, Sputnik, and the first human into space, Yuri Gagarin. The United States, however, wanted to tackle the much more difficult task of placing a man on the moon. In 1958, President Eisenhower created the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, also known as NASA, in order to foster space exploration. Kennedy became president shortly afterwards, ordering several missions called the Apollo missions with the goal of landing a man on the moon. The first 6 missions were unmanned and designed to gather information about the moon and the new lunar module itself. The United States made several technological adjustments to ensure that humans would be safe throughout the whole journey, and that they could lower the cost of space exploration significantly. On Apollo 11, the United States achieved the impossible by landing on the moon, which is approximately 240,000 miles from Earth. The first astronaut to get off the lunar module and take a step on the moon was Neil Armstrong. Armstrong's famous first words on the moon were, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." The lunar landing was more than just a victory against the Soviets during an intense ideological war. It was a symbol of what mankind can do through cooperation, patience, determination, innovation, and courage. It is representative of America's valiant efforts to contain communism, a type of government which limits the individual freedoms of its citizens and advances the notions of what the human race can achieve. This event expanded the conceivable boundaries of human innovation and achievements. It also signified that Americans are inquisitive beings and this curiosity is what motivates us to achieve greatness and obtain solutions to the world's biggest.
December 7th, 1941, a day that will forever change the world. On this day, the U.S., the sleeping giant, was attacked and awoken by Japan, a country that threatened democracy in the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Many people died, and as a result, the U.S. will enter World War II to defeat fascism in Japan and Germany and uphold democracy, capitalism, and freedom in Europe and Asia. At the end of World War II, the U.S. came out victorious with their allies and developed a new plan for post-war Europe. The United States would become a major peacekeeper in the world. This event was chosen because it would mark the beginning of America's heavy involvement in foreign affairs that still continues today. This involvement was seen useful during the Cold War and fight to contain communism and other evils. This significant event shows that countries should intervene in the world and uphold peace and freedoms for others. We demonstrated that these efforts can be effective, and we provided an example that many other countries have followed and found success with.